In the animated movie Rango, there is a character known as Rattlesnake Jake. He's a very menacing western diamondback rattlesnake that dons a cowboy hat and a gun for a rattle. And although Rattlesnake Jake only has a couple of minutes of screen time in Rango, he is a character who stuck with me.
I'm gonna blow so many holes in you, your guts will be leaking lead.
You know, I just love the design, you know, a rattlesnake plus cowboy hat. Probably one of the greatest symbols of the Wild West ever. So by now you probably already know where I'm going with this. I want to put a mini cowboy hat on a wild western diamondback rattlesnake. That's it. Now, to my knowledge, only one other person has done this. The act of putting mini cowboy hats on rattlesnakes. In that case, the snake was a pet. It was extremely comfortable with the owner. I mean, there's even videos of the guy petting the rattlesnake.
Like a very venomous dog.
Today, however, I attempt something different. I didn't put a mini cowboy hat on a domesticated pet rattlesnake. I did what is quite possibly one of the dumbest things that I have ever done in my life. And I drove all the way down to West Texas to put a mini cowboy hat on a wild western diamondback rattlesnake. Our journey begins inside a Hobby Lobby, where you can find atrocious AI dinosaur art. But I wasn't here for the live, laugh, love decor. I was here for some mini cowboy hats. And here are the mini cowboy hats. Now I can finally get this video rolling. And thus, our journey truly began, after a 26-hour-long drive from New York to Central Texas.
Alright, so we are in Central Texas, and this is the start of our journey of putting cowboy hats on rattlesnakes, because there are different species of rattlesnakes here than there are in western Texas. So I'm gonna try to put them on, you know, whatever type of rattlesnake that I can. And as you can see, I have this magnificent snake skin cowboy hat. It's not real snake skin, it's made out of cardboard. And you know, every cowboy's hat has a story to go alongside it. And the story of this hat was that it was found when I was in college, and one of my friends found it in a closet there and gave it to me. And that is the badass story associated with this hat. We're gonna go look for snakes now.
See, I wish I decided against wearing the fake snakeskin cowboy hat, because it looks awful. I'm not gonna lie, it looks ridiculous. I look like a male stripper. Anyways, now if you're wondering why I am looking when the sun is setting for rattlesnakes, because, you know, there's the whole thing where, you know, reptiles come out to bask in the sun. Well, there's a specific reason for that. And the reason for that is because this time of year, or when we were filming this video, Texas is so hot that the majority of its wildlife doesn't come out until the sun is setting. Although rattlesnakes are cold-blooded, meaning their body temperature is dependent on the environment, the Texas sun gets too hot even for them during the day. So that's what we were doing. We were just kind of walking around my friend's property, flipping stuff over, looking for rattlesnakes. And unfortunately, after a while of searching, We had no luck finding any rattlesnakes. However, we did stumble across a shit ton of coyotes. And I'm pretty upset I didn't capture this on camera, but our whole group was just in awe in what was happening. We were walking through the field, hopefully trying to find some rattlesnakes hiding in the grass, and instead what we found were coyotes circling us. We heard the grass all around us, like rustling, and at this point the sun was already set to the point where it was dark out, and as we shined our flashlights around, we saw eyes everywhere, and they were coyotes. We could tell because we could hear them. They very clearly did not want us there. I don't know if we were encroaching on their home or something, but they did not want us there, so we just left them alone. And I'm sad I didn't catch any of like the eyes reflecting in my flashlight on camera. I did catch the noises of them.
You hear it? That's so close.
Yeah, it's really close.
They're still surrounding us.
But otherwise, you're just gonna have to kind of take my word for it. Like, I saw one clear as day running across the field. It was very cool, but I didn't catch it on camera. Very scary experience, because they were, like, surrounding us, but I didn't catch any of that on camera. The next day, the search for rattlesnakes continued, and this time we decided to look for them in the morning, in hopes that we'd find some rattlesnakes soaking up some early morning sun before the Texas heat got too much for them. And I do want to clarify that we weren't trespassing on some random person's property. My friend Landon and his family were kind enough to let us camp out on his property, and they have a shit ton of land, so we were almost guaranteed to find a rattlesnake.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, there's rattlesnakes everywhere. I've never seen one here.
But I guess God just wanted to laugh in our faces. Because after searching in just about every spot that would be perfect for a rattlesnake, we had no luck. I literally don't understand. It feels like the guy digging for diamonds meme. It felt like we were so close to finding one, yet we didn't know where to look for them. We didn't know what time they were out, but, you know, Landon and his family, they said they constantly see them. But I guess it's one of those things where, you know, when you're not searching for it, it shows up, and then when you're searching for it, you can't find it. And one of my guesses as to why we were getting unlucky finding rattlesnakes on their property might be because of the coyotes that we had ran into prior, because coyotes will kill and eat rattlesnakes. At least that's what Google says. So my guess is that they may have scared off all the rattlesnakes. I don't know. That might be why we were having no luck. Now, we didn't have any luck finding rattlesnakes this day, but when night rolled around, I actually got to see some other Texas wildlife that wasn't rattlesnakes. Such as this Mediterranean house gecko, which gets its name from squatting in people's homes like an unemployed loser. In fact, these guys are so good at couch surfing that they came all the way from the Mediterranean region, as you might assume by the name. I also saw this guy who thinks I can't see him because he thinks he's camouflaged with the leaves. This is a Gulf Coast toad, and I will say this guy's name is a little more confusing than the geckos, because the name suggests that he could either be from the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America. I'm not sure which one. And as I was holding this Gulf of America toad, a light bulb went off in my head. Why did I only have to put a cowboy hat on a rattlesnake? Why couldn't I go further? A cowboy hat on a praying mantis. A cowboy hat on this frog. a cowboy hat on a motherfucking scorpion. If only the scorpion was bigger, because that would actually go incredibly hard. A scorpion is almost as iconic of a symbol of the Wild West as a rattlesnake.
They're fast as fuck. What the hell?
Unfortunately, at this point in time, we were done with Central Texas. We felt like giving up on finding rattlesnakes. I mean, that's how we'd be feeling if that was the end of the trip. Let me tell you, the entire goal of this trip wasn't for me to put a mini cowboy hat on a wild western diamondback rattlesnake. That's just the goal of this video. The entire goal of the trip was that me and my girlfriend had never seen a desert in our entire lives. That's it. We just wanted to see a desert. The whole putting a mini cowboy hat on a rattlesnake, that was just a side quest I gave myself for a YouTube video. So, 8 more short hours of driving later, and we found ourselves in the Chihuahuan Desert of Southwest Texas.
Okay, so here we are in Southwest Texas, the Chihuahuan Desert. It is absolutely stunning, but right now we are going to have absolutely no chance in finding any rattlesnakes. Right now it is almost 100 degrees, and the only thing that we've been finding are lizards and roadrunners. Actually, at our campsite we found a roadrunner, and the only reason the roadrunners are out is because they are eating the lizards. And we've been seeing some very beautiful lizards, but they are extremely fast, so I've had no chance in catching them. All right, just stay right there. Oh. God damn it. But these very high temperatures, the rattlesnakes don't come out in because they come out at nighttime. But right now, if they came out here, they would just absolutely cook. So right now, not gonna have a chance, but it is beautiful.
And then the sun set and the desert heat faded away. This was the perfect time for us to go out and find some rattlesnakes, but I'm gonna delay that a little bit because, you know, I gotta build up the suspense for the video, so I gotta edge you a little, alright? You're into that, you freak. Now, I will say the desert at night is a completely different experience. When we first arrived in the desert, it was nighttime, so the awe factor of the fact that we had just driven 34 hours didn't really set in, because when we got to the desert, we couldn't see shit. But I eventually started to realize that we were in the desert, because at this one point in the drive over, we saw windmills for miles. It was insane. And the night sky was absolutely beautiful. No pictures that I took do it any justice. There was no light pollution whatsoever, which, you know, being from New York, I am very used to light pollution. But if you were to Google night sky or some shit like that, like right now, and just looked at a bunch of stock images of, like, you know, beautiful pictures of the stars and the night sky, that's kind of what the sky looked like in the desert. That's the best way I could describe it. And then we started to realize that we were in the desert because we started to see all sorts of different desert animals, such as jackrabbits who kept attempting to be hit by my car. Or we saw this rattlesnake that didn't attempt to be hit by my car, but appeared to have been hit by someone else's car because it was dead and in the road. However, I will point out, but I'm gonna have to blur it for YouTube, it looked to me as though someone may have hit it on purpose, or maybe on accident, because the rattle was completely severed off as if someone took a knife or maybe even scissors and cut it off. Like, it was just cut off clean. So it makes me think that maybe someone ran it over on purpose to, grab the rattle, or maybe someone else had ran it over and someone was like, oh, dead rattlesnake, let me take the rattle. Like, that's probably what happened, because to my knowledge, I don't know of any animals that steal the rattles off rattlesnakes besides humans, because we like to steal them and then sell them on eBay. And then we saw another rattlesnake in the road, and this time it was alive. But in the amount of time that it took for us to grab the mini cowboy hat and camera equipment and everything else, that thing was gone.
Oh, fuck!
When we finally arrived at our campsite, there was a horse.
Whose fucking horse is this? Why is he here?
Peter.
We were staying at the Rio Grande Village in Big Bend National Park, which is right on the Mexican border.
Donkey.
At first, I thought these were wild horses, but from what I learned, these are domesticated horses from Mexico that people let free roam in Mexico. So I guess these horses just cross the border as they please without needing a U.S. citizenship. And apparently these horses are a little bit of a nuisance too, and are causing some damage to Big Bend's ecosystem. I thought there was supposed to be a fucking wall there to stop them. What happened to that? And at the campground, there were just these guys roaming around, javelinas, which, they look pretty innocent. Oh my god, what the fuck is that? And those things were just going up to people's campsites. They were only a couple campsites away from ours. We also saw a bunch of these guys roaming around our campsite. This is a Texas toad. Oh, well, there he goes. Alright, so I'm gonna finally stop delaying the part where we go out and actively look for rattlesnakes in the Chihuahuan Desert. So here it is.
Alright, so what we are doing right now is literally the most lazy way of searching for reptiles and amphibians and invertebrates, or just animals in general, which is just driving. I mean, I've been driving through here all day today, and I've seen like 5 rattlesnakes on the road.
Such as this little guy, who's a baby western diamondback rattlesnake. You can tell it's a baby because he has a little nub for a rattle, but also the fact that he's very small. Too small to wear this cowboy hat.
And when we first drove in here, we obviously saw one, so we're just gonna see what we can find, and that's about it. I'm gonna be back when we find something, so that's that. Yep, look at this, so epic. This is riveting footage, just going in a straight line.
And then I finally found a rattlesnake that was big enough to wear the hat. At the time of filming this, it was like 3 in the morning, so my girlfriend was asleep in the car, and I had to try and get this hat on this rattlesnake with one hand while holding a camera in the other. Along with the fact that this was filmed at nighttime, because that was the only time I had any luck finding rattlesnakes. So I apologize for the footage looking like shit, but this was the best I could do considering all of the circumstances. I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Are you a nice guy? Oh. Are you nice? You nice? Oh, you are not nice.
on. No fucking way. You are so freaking cute. I just wanna pick you up if you weren't venomous and deadly as hell. Why is the flash turning off? That is not how you wear a cowboy hat. You're wearing it too gangster, my guy. I'm gonna just kinda scoop that. I'm gonna take that back if that's okay. I hope you don't mind. You just be on your merry way. All right. Yep. Yep. See you later, dude. Oh my god. I didn't expect him to be so chill. I'm just gonna grab the hat. Well, I'm not trying to get you, dude. Well, I can say I put a cowboy hat on a rattlesnake now, so that's something. He's in defensive position right now to strike me, so now I'm gonna be on my way.
And there it is. I did what the video title said I was gonna do. Yeah, so check out my Patreon and have a good one.